How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm gonna be, the last video I made, I was hating. I'll be honest, I was hating a lot on the UFC and their matchmaking errors, especially in the featherweight division. Well, not especially, literally this featherweight division, top five, what they're doing right now. It's very stupid, alright, I'll be honest with you. But today, I thought I'd give some props. Some little hand claps, some golf claps to the UFC, if you will, for the main events they've been putting on. Now, not putting on like right now, for the future like couple months of the UFC, the main events we're going to be getting actually are pretty good. I'll be honest with you, except like we can skip past this one this weekend. I'm not just going to be talking about the main event the video is mostly talking about how main events are improving, but also some of the undercards for these events actually aren't too bad. They got some decent fights on here, but there's going to be one little thing I'm going to mention. When we get to August, I'll bring it to the forefront, but we can ignore Blanchfield Barber. This main event, I think literally maybe 3 people care about it, and it's because it's Blanchfield cares about it, Barber cares about it, and then one of the white knights that likes both of them just like, oh my god, Macy Barber main event, I've been waiting for this one. There's literally no fights on this undercard. Gamrot Klein is the best fight on the entire card. The 2 fights, like my 3rd and 4th favorite fights on the card probably, Billy Goff versus Seokyeon Ko, and then Oban Elliott versus Ramiz Brahimaj. They got fucking canceled, and now Billy Ray Goff is fighting Ramiz Brahimaj, probably the worst matchup, like, entertainment-wise, of the 2. Of the possible, 4 or something matchups that we could have potentially got out of this bullshit. Yeah, we didn't get it. We didn't get that. We got the worst of them. Jacoby's on it, I guess. Vera Chiasson is... Wow, Macy Chiasson. Why did I pronounce it like that? That's about it. There's not a lot of depth. There's 11 fights, I think. It's going to be a tough breakdown and sit through. But June, July, and August right now are looking really good, especially June. Look at this lineup we got coming up, guys and gals. I don't know if any women watch me, but 2 pay-per-views to start things off. Double up month pay-per-views are usually like one kind of mid-card, which in this sense it's going to be 316 is probably the mid pay-per-view that we're going to get, but it still has a decent main event. I know a lot of people pardon me, are hating on Merab versus O'Malley too. I don't mind it, I'll be honest with you. There was no other contender that I want to see fight Merab than O'Malley. He went to a 48-47 decision. I know Jan is most likely more deserving. He's on a win streak, that's to say the least, than a O'Malley. But Piotr got 50-44'd by Merab. I don't really care about that rematch right now. I want to see Jan versus somebody else, preferably an Umar or a Corey Sandhagen rematch. I don't really mind this main event. Usman Buckley is badass in a crowded arena in Atlanta. That's a badass fight. That is gonna be a main event. Probably we look on at the end of the year and like, oh my god, what a fight that was. Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill. A fight at this time, it'll be a year in the making. This fight was booked for UFC 303 last year, International Fight Week last year. Fell through because Khalil popped hot, and then Jamal got injured. He was supposed to fight Carlos Ulberg, so then it became Anthony Smith versus Carlos Ulberg, and then Ulberg pulled out, and then it became Anthony Smith, Roman Dolidze. This fight turned into fucking Anthony Smith, Roman Dolidze, by the way. I love the lore behind that fight. And then International Fight Week, Ilya Topuria, Charles Oliveira. To give some, mentionable matchups on the undercard, let's start with 316. Of course, the co-main event, Pena versus Harrison. It's a WMMA title fight. It's probably the best WMMA women's bantamweight title fight we're going to get right now, probably. Gastelum Pfeiffer rebooked. Batista Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix's debut in the UFC. Vicente Luque Kevin Holland is on that card. Joshua Van Bruno Silva, badass fight. And then you got some other ranked guys. Azamat Murzakanov, he was supposed to be fighting Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker pulled out. Now we get Brendan Ribeiro. Sergey Spivak, Waldo Cortez Acosta. And that's kind of it. I get Killen Salkild and Chaos Williams are both on the card in their respective fights. So those are guys I guess you could look forward to for Atlanta. So 316 right now as it stands, on paper, it's like a 7 out of 10 pay-per-view in my opinion. Maybe 6 out of 10 if you're that judgmental about WMMA title fights in the co-main event and about how there's not a ton of name value. Even though there's not a ton of name value, there is still name value, don't get me wrong, but it isn't a 314, I'll say that. These are all fun. These are mostly fun fights. Killen Salkild is going to be a fun fight. Ju Sang Yu, that was the guy that got found in the TKZ fighting promotion or whatever on the Dana White looking for a fight. I think there's going to be a lot of finishes on this card, man. I think there's a lot of finishing potential. I think there's going to be a lot of highlights. And Merab O'Malley, too. That fight really dictates the future of the bantamweight division and where it goes. Because if Merab wins, he says he wants to be very active. We'll get at least a fight out of him for the year. He wants 2. I don't think we're going to get 2 more Merab fights, even if he wins. But it is like we probably know how the fight's going to play out, but you never know with O'Malley. You know what I mean? You never know. For Atlanta, it doesn't have the same amount of mentionable matchups. Co-main event, Namajunas Maverick, who really gives a shit. Cody Garbrandt, Heoni Barcelos, Adolfo Bellato, Paul Craig getting rebooked. You get Alonzo Menafield, Umar Sy, Ricky Simone, Charles Jourdain. That's about it. Phil Rowe, Angelusa, I guess if you're a kind of like a hardcore kind of fella. Shabazing and Petrosky. Like, Cody Brundage, Mansour Abdul Malik. Like, there's a lot. It's not a crazy amount of name value on the card, but there's, like, interesting matchups layered throughout. And you got some, like, former champs, Cody Garbrandt, Kamaru Usman, Rose Namajunas. You know, you have former contenders and Michael Chiesa, listed just throughout the card. And I like that. There's a lot. It's in a crowded event as well. That makes up for it. UFC Baku, Hill Roundtree, not in the Apex, by the way. This is in a crowded arena. You get Nazim Sadikov, Oban Elliott versus Seok-Young Ko getting rebooked or made for that card, I guess. You get Jun Young Park versus Ishmael Nardiev. You get Muktabek Orobai versus Tofik Musayev, who is one of the best prospects that's been signed to the UFC in recent times. Tofik Musayev is really fucking good. Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maksum. And then you get the top 3 fights. You got Curtis Blades, Rizvan Kuniev, Rafael Fiziev, Ignacio Bahamondes, and Jamal Hill, Khalil Roundtree. Those 3 fights literally make the entire card. You could throw literal donkey feces on the undercard under that, but you don't. You get a Muktabek Orobai, you get a Tagir Ulanbekov, you get a couple other fun fights, Muhammad Naimov, Bogdan Grad, you get a couple other guys. There's a couple WMMA fights, but it's fine. International Fight Week, well, International Fight Week has kind of been weird the past couple years. There's only 10 fights, they're going to add more. Topuria Oliveira main event, that's a badass fight. Pantoja Kaikara France, flyweight, but it's going to be badass, it's going to be entertaining, it's going to be very high level. Costa Kopylov, maybe not featured fight worthy of a pay-per-view, but it's still going to be very fun. Dariush Moicano rebooked, should be fun. Royval Kopp, entertaining. Hermanson Gregory Rodriguez, badass. Viviane Araujo, Tracy Cortez, alright. Jonathan Denise, Justin Tava, alright. Michael Johnson, Daniel Zellhuber, not official yet. Like I didn't see Big Marcel post about it, but it's on Tapology. And then Terrence McKinney, Vyacheslav Borshev. There's a lot of finishing potential throughout this card. I think we're going to get a lot of highlights. And we get a new lightweight champion for the first time since UFC 280. So, who knows? This is going to set up a lot of future fights in a lot of divisions. That is June. June usually has really stacked events. Last year, it was supposed to be really good. And then it kind of took a turn, I guess. Islam versus Poirier was that month. UFC Louisville, Cannonier versus Imavov was cool. And then there was Saudi Arabia that kind of fell through because Khamzat pulled out. Then there was that Tyra versus Perez card. And then there was International Fight Week, which is supposed to be Conor McGregor, and then it kind of fell through. July carries on the tradition. While it doesn't have 4 events, it has only 3. The main events are pretty good. Lewis, Teixeira, listen, here's my take on it. It's not a great main event. I think we can all say that. But it's going to have a finish, which not every main event does this year. There's been a lot of decisions going on this year. I want to see people get knocked out in main event fights. I want to see violence. Derek Lewis is violence personified because he's tubby, takes punches, and can land a big one. I wish it would have been a different fighter. I wish they would have kept Rosenstrike signed so we could have seen Lewis versus Rosenstrike finally, but Rosenstrike's in fucking bare knuckle fucking MMA, I guess. Same with Alex Caceres, too. I don't know if you guys saw that. That's fucking weird. But Teixeira's getting the fight up, I guess. He could finish Lewis. Lewis could finish him. Who fucking knows at the end of the day? Not a lot of mentionable matchups. Calvin Kattar, Steve Garcia should be fun. Lane versus Petrino. That's Chris Curtis, Max Griffin, Ateba Gauthier, Robert Valentin. So there's a lot of finishing potential on the undercard as well. But the thing that makes it good is it's in a crowd. If you guys remember, people were dogging on UFC St. Louis, the card Lewis versus Nascimento, because Lewis was the main event. That card was badass. That was a really good, entertaining card because there was a lot of, there was some decent depth, not crazy name value, but interesting matchups. That's what we need. That's all we need is interesting matchups. Maybe not crazy name value, but matchups that people go like, oh shit, I don't really know who wins that. You know, matchups where it's like, I already know who wins this. Nobody cares. Maybe a matchup where somebody thinks they know who wins. Maybe upsets do happen, but most of the time, you get a UFC Vegas 106 where basically everybody knows what's going to happen and everybody does well on picks. I like cards like Des Moines where it subverts everyone's opinions. Unless you're me and I go 10-2 on the card, but I'm hyping myself up a little bit. UFC 318, Holloway versus Poirier 3. People, again, like UFC 316, people are dogging on this main event. I get it. It's a casual matchup. It's a casual, this badass, it's a casual, Holloway, Poirier, violence personified, man. I get that's, what the matchup is, but it's still going to be fun. I think people need to realize that. Maybe it's because we've seen it twice already. People don't want to see it anymore, but I don't mind it. I like this as Holloway's move up to lightweight fully against Poirier. I think Poirier can win. He's already beat Holloway twice. Do I think Poirier wins? No. I think Holloway's going to beat him. But who knows? At the end, Poirier looked good against Islam. He did. In the grappling sense, in the striking sense, he kind of slowed down a little bit more than I would have liked. He didn't have as many moments as I would have liked, besides, of course, the left hand, straight left hand in round 5, and then the body shot, rattling off the ribs that he had in one of the rounds, I forget. But it's going to be fun. It's in New Orleans. There's some decent fights on the undercard. Vittori Allen, Islam Dulatov's debut, Ikram Alascaro, Bruno Fajea, Magny, Gunnar Nelson, oh shit, Kyler Phillips, Vinicius Oliveira, Jimmy Crute, Martin Prochnow. You have some name value under here. They're going to add some more fun fights, I imagine. There's only 9 fights on it right now. It's going to be a good card. And it's in New Orleans. It's a pay-per-view. Poirier's last ride. And they're giving him Holloway. In a trilogy, I know, a trilogy that not a lot of people wanted to see. It was either this or the Gaethje trilogy. But I want to see Gaethje fight Dan Hooker, because that's a matchup we haven't seen yet. And I know you could say the same thing with Holloway and Poirier, right? I want to see Holloway or Poirier fight, Paddy Pimblett or some shit like that. I like this matchup because even though we've seen it before, we know it's going to be entertaining. I know you can say that, but Holloway and Poirier versus Gaethje or some shit would be entertaining again as well. You could say that any fight with Poirier in it will be entertaining. That is true, but Holloway and Poirier are entertaining because Holloway is never going to shoot a takedown on Poirier. He just won't. And Poirier's last couple of opponents have shot takedown. I know Gaethje won't shoot a takedown on him, but Who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe Gaethje shoots a takedown, dude. He shot a takedown on Rafael Fiziev, dude. What do you want me to say? But I want to see a matchup that Poirier's won before, like both of them, and then fight again. I don't want to see a matchup where I think he gets KO'd in like the first 2 rounds. I think Gaethje would finish Poirier again early as well. Holloway doesn't have that same power. It'll go long, and I like that. I want to see Poirier go, 4 rounds in his last fight, have a dog fight, and Holloway is able to take those punches. That's another thing. Holloway has the chin. Gaethje doesn't really have that chin, so I think Holloway or Poirier, Gaethje will end early, kind of anticlimactically. Holloway Poirier won't. It'll go longer. It's the opposite idea with a Lewis Teixeira. Lewis Teixeira is like a dopamine sugar rush where it's like, holy shit, there's so much happening, and then it ends really fast. Holloway Poirier 3 is like, it's like a steak dinner. It's a gourmet meal. You get to enjoy it for as long as it lasts, and it'll most likely last a longer time. Pause, by the way, that as long as it lasts is crazy. But, hopefully they stack it up as well. Whittaker to Ritter in Abu Dhabi. I love this fight. It is a weird matchup. I've talked about it before with Robert Whittaker versus De Ritter. I like it, though. I think it could really either be De Ritter just goofy maxing his way to a title shot, or Whittaker absolutely exposing him on the feet. Either or is going to be very fun, because Whittaker can finish De Ritter can finish Whittaker. It's going to be a very entertaining matchup. Also, I think this is the fight that really proves whether or not De Ritter is legit. I know a lot of people, he beat Bo Nickel, dude. He's a legit ass fucking fight. I don't think Bo Nickel's that good. I've been saying it for a while. A lot of people are like, dude, he's only been fighting MMA for like 2-3 years, man. Yeah. That doesn't mean that I have to be like, oh, wait, he's good for a fighter that's been fighting. No, you're in the UFC. You've been fighting fucking cans. You're not that good. And De Ritter proved it. He did what he should against a Bo Nickel. Fucking tuned him up. Beat his ass. Finished him. Does he do the same thing to Whittaker? I don't know. I don't know if he does the same thing to Whittaker. Whittaker can get bullied, but De Ritter's very open on the feet. And there's some fun fights on the undercard here, too. The aforementioned Movsar Evloev Aaron Pico fight is going to be on here if it does come to fruition as a co-main event. Shara Buthin versus Marc-Andre Barrio. Nikita Krylov, Bogdan Guskov, Asu Almabeya versus Ramazan Tamirov. Ibo Aslan, Billy Alakana. Those are all very fun fights. Every fight I just listed is going to be fun. Unironically, the worst matchup that I listed is probably maybe Shara versus Marc-Andre Barrio. That might be the worst fight I just named. Like, entertainment value-wise. Nikita Krylov, Bogdan Guskov is going to be a finish. Maybe a Suama Bay of Ramazan Tamirov is less entertaining than Shara versus Marc-Andre, but Ibo Aslan, Billy Alakana is going to be wild. I think Asu Almabeya of Ramazan Tamirov is going to be wild. I think Asu is going to be able to take down Ramazan, and Ramazan throws for the fucking fences, dude. He throws for the fucking fences. And then you got a main event like Robert Whittaker, Reinier De Ritter, and then you got a Movsar Evloev Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico's entertaining, as I've been told, of course. And Movsar, I think he's underrated. I think his entertainment value is underrated in the featherweight division. So July, you get, again, and what can I say about these main events? Not a single Apex in sight. So June and July have not an Apex main event. Of 7 events, you get 3 pay-per-views and 4 arena-centered events. And I don't think we get a break between Topuria and Lewis. It's also summer. It's going to be fucking fun. In the pool watching fights, dude. But it's going to be fun. Now, like I said, June and July have no Apex events. Can't say the same about August. August opens up with 2 Apex main events. But they aren't bad. You go back to this, right? This in the Apex. Apex main events have been kind of weird. I don't mind these 2. I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, that might just be my modern MMA, like, allowing bullshit main events to slide by. I think Albazi Tyra is a really cool fight. And if you're going to have an event in the Apex, I want entertainment and high-level fights. This is going to be that. Albazi Tyra is going to be entertaining because they're flyweights, but it's also going to be insanely high level. Albazi's a really good grappler, so is Tyra. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be fun. The undercard for it so far is kind of weird. Nick Klein, Andre Pulayev, Andre Lima versus Felipe Bunas, kind of a throwaway fight for Andre Lima again. I don't know why they aren't giving him a main event, not a main event, a ranked fighter. Is Andre Lima 4-0 in the UFC now? He's 4-0, isn't he? Igor Severino, Mitch Raposo, Daniel Perez, and then whoever he beat in between Perez and Raposo. Who was it? I don't know. Andre Lima's good, man. Andre Lima's really fucking... Oh, yeah, it was Felipe Dos Santos at that fucking Burns versus Sean Brady card. I like the main event, though. And, you know, this is a main event that I don't really care what you have under it because I'll be looking forward to the main event. But there are some, like, you know, Andre Lima, for example, Carol Hosa, Noro Kernol. Some, like, that's a decent WMMA fight that's hard to come by, especially when it's, like, not championship level. But Carol Hosa's a dog. Nora Kernol's decently entertaining. Pierre Rodriguez, Caitlin Souza. I guess Caitlin Souza's kind of an animal, too. But, you know, it's still early for this card. Same with for Vegas 109. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I would have wanted this as a main event because it could be entertaining. I think Fluffy Hernandez can win this, but I think Dolidze might actually pull it off. It's a weird one because it's going to be in the Apex, so it's going to be very close quarters. So it's going to be a lot of grappling, which if you don't like grappling, probably don't watch this fight, I'll be honest. But if you are somebody who really appreciates high-level grappling exchanges, this is the fight for you. Roman Dolidze, unironically, is really fucking good when it comes to grappling. He just never uses it because he's a dumbass. But Fluffy Hernandez is going to take him down. He's going to try it. And he might get reversed because Dolidze... People forget, man. People forget what he did to Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson was beating him up on the feet and then decided to shoot 2 takedowns and got reversed off of both of them. But yeah, Dolidze's in a weird spot where he's just kind of been giving main events for a while now. I don't know why. He's been like a shoe-in for an Apex main event every like 3 months now. I don't think it's that bad, but it's definitely... This is probably the worst main event, unless maybe you're not a fan of Louis Teixeira. This is probably the worst main event of the couple that we've been given. But I think it's still better than a Blanchfield versus Barber. I actually like this a bit more than a Morales-Burns, if I'm being honest. I knew Morales was going to beat Gilbert Burns. This one, I'm a little like, I don't know, maybe Dolidze can fraud check. Not fraud, he's not going to, that's not a fraud check. But, like, show Anthony Hernandez that he's not ready, like, yet for the top 10, maybe. But I think Fluffy can beat him. I think it's a very, like, who knows? 319 is where it's at, though. A pay-per-view in Chicago, Duplessis versus Chimaev. This is unironically my favorite fight of all of these. Because... this is a fight I feel goosebumps for now. I can't fucking imagine what fight week is going to be when it's Duplessis versus Chimaev. And, dude, that's going to be so nuts. The press conference is going to be wild. They're probably going to layer this card up decently well. Because they usually do Chimaev cards pretty well. Maybe because DDP's on it, maybe they don't do it as justice as it should get. Because for some reason, DDP has weird undercards that never really are good for some reason. I don't know if the UFC just doesn't like him or whatever, but his undercards are usually bad. But I think Chimaev might counterweight it a little bit like a scale where DDP's like, 312, 304, 305 rather, and 297. Those undercards are pretty trash, but Chimaev is like, 308, 294, kind of, I don't know, but it should be very entertaining. The fight week vibe that's going to be here is going to be nuts, especially if Chimaev is able to make it to the fight. That is one thing. That's another, like, kind of weird tingly feeling is like, dude, I don't know if Chimaev even makes it to the fight, and then Chimaev pulls out and we get Imavov versus Duplessis, which would be way worse than Chimaev, but it'd still be entertaining. But Khamzat Chimaev fight weeks are like no other, dude. Because it's like is he going to be able to do this to another guy? Last time he did. And this time, I honestly don't know. I think he can. I think he does. But who fucking knows with DDP? DDP's fucking good. Like, people need to... He's fucking good. He's a good fighter, man. People need to realize that. And then UFC Shanghai, August 23rd. No confirmed fights there. I threw it on here just to kind of be like August has a fight night that's a non-Apex event, you know, just to kind of be like, it's not all Apex and then one good pay-per-view. The main event, that it hasn't been confirmed yet, but people are rumoring that Ming Yang Zhang versus Johnny Walker or Song Yadong, Rob Font might fight on here. I don't mind it. It's going to be loaded with a bunch of Asian talent, which usually, those cards are unironically really fucking good. Like Macau last year was nuts for fights on the undercard, even though there wasn't a ton of name value. It was all wild shit. Like Mi Xing versus Fang Xiaokan literally died. Wang Kong fucking lost on Macau. I think they're going to stack this card up with a lot of Road to UFC talent, which they usually fight pretty well because they want to be in the UFC. But, yeah, dude. So, of the summer, we have 11 events that span, you know, however many weeks. I don't know how many breaks we get. There's a break between this and this. 12th, 19th, 26th, the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th, the 23rd. I don't know if there's an August 30th event. I don't think there is. I think we get a break then. So we get basically 1 week off and then fights for the rest of the summer. That's awesome. These are good main events. Good main event, good main event, good main event, good main event. Like if you like, it's like a mid low level main event, crazy really good main event, really good main event. For an Apex event, solid main event. For an Apex event is decent. Great main event, and then who knows yet? Shanghai is kind of too early to call, but yeah, I think the UFC, you know, I gave them so much shit a couple days ago that I thought I'd make a video kind of being like, you know what? It's not that bad. This shit is dog shit, by the way. I hate this fucking card. I might refuse to, no, I'll do a picks and breakdown for it, but yeah. If you like the video, give it a like. Give me some ideas. What are your thoughts on the main events that have been announced for the summer so far? 319 has Kaya Sakura versus Tim Elliott on it. I just saw that on my feed. That's pretty cool. That's a cool featured prelim or lower main card fight, I guess. Yeah, give the video if you like. What are your thoughts on these main events in the summer for the UFC? If you want to see more content like this, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I will see you guys in my next video. I don't know if it'll be picks and breakdown for UFC Vegas 107, this dog shit of a card. But yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.